think about that. Uh, we are way beyond
Yeah.
what our father or grandfathers. Actually, I'm not. I had a great grandfather who lived to 93.
Mm.
I did actually know him um, as a child, um, but my grandfather had a lot of physical problems, and I don't know how old he was. I think he was in his 70s,
Mm.
but he was chair-bound virtually for years, at the end of his life. And my father did pretty well until the last year or two, and then he had a couple of things that really laid him low.
Well, my father made to 70, but he had a gigantic heart attack when he was 40.
Mm.
And hi, you're all set, sir.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
Have a good day.
Sure. Um, and then another what was described as major heart attack and then strokes, mini strokes. So he was okay, and he had a job and managed, but he got diminished after the strokes began
Sure.
to take away. My
Well,
mother, on the other hand, made it to within a week of 96. Yeah.
wow. Well, there you
Um,
go.
yeah.
There's a goal to reach.
Yeah. And my father's mother was 93 and probably would have gone on and on, but she fell and
Mm,
broke her hip and pneumonia got her, which
yeah, yeah,
often happens.
yeah. Well,
So I have a mix,
yeah.
and of course I inherited the heart business from my father, but that's
Yeah.
under control with the help of
Exactly.
modern medicine. Um,
Indeed.
yeah, so that's well, this is going to be 20 years. Yeah, in another month or so.
Well, mine hasn't been that long, but fortunately it seems to be under control,
Yeah,
as it were.
yeah,
We're at this point, we're fortunate the advances in medicine
oh,
are really,
it's astonishing. Well, it allows us to think about living a good bit longer. I mean, my
yeah,
wife used to say, if I make it to my late 80s, I'll be happy. I don't want to live any longer. But now the evidence is staring us in the face. I mean, you being one example, even with, some debilities,
yeah,
you're still trucking along. And
yeah,
there are lots of people who are in their 90s and you wouldn't necessarily know it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if if I can be with it, I don't see any reason to not go on.
Yeah,
Or not want
yeah,
to go on.
yeah, yeah. Well, I certainly think Tai Chi helps.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I think Tai Chi is why I'm here and in the shape I am.
mm,
I'm grateful that about 40 years ago I ran into Tai
mm,
Chi. So we should do what we're here for.
yeah.
So. Thought, what would you like to do for your private lesson?
Well, I'm not sure in the overall, but I do have one specific area,
Mhm.
which I think you know about.
Okay.
But I thought maybe, maybe it would help me to have a little hands-on, literal hands-on with grasping. Just going through G,
Mhm.
U, and I. I think I understand and G, um, but I swim after that.
Mm.
It's not consistent, and I think my brain gets confused within and in and out in the view on
Out, in, out. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's confusing at first.
Well, it's not at first anymore, but
Sure it is.
um,
Yeah, no, that
I thought if I could feel your hands on my arms, directing them a little bit. I mean, I know it's not the arms, it's the energy. So, I mean, you know,
but
uh,
it's reflected in the
yeah,
movement of the arms.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it would finally, after years, stick with me.
Mhm. Um, I think
I
one,
mean, that's a thought question.
no, that's a great one because that's a really difficult series of movements that come close and subtly to each other. And it's completely understandable because um, you can do everything doing the 8 gates, and it seems like it's no problem really, um, because it's all nice and even. And then you get into that, and it's like one's long and one's short and one's reversed, and what the heck is going on? And so um, one of my, well, I probably shouldn't do that um, because you're in the other class, and we've been working for several weeks on opening and closing.
Yeah.
Obviously, opening and closing is also going on here. And so sometimes thinking about it in those terms might make it a little easier. I'm not sure. But um, Pung is the most open energy in all the movements.
Okay.
And then you have to close in order to be able to do
Yeah.
G. So you have to draw that energy in order to send it back out again. And then because that one way to think about this is that that person has continued to advance, that you thought you were going to get rid of them with G, and they're still coming. And so you have to get their arms apart so you can draw their energy in and draw it further in and bounce them away. And I completely understand, and I'll try to help you with that. Yeah.
Um, something just occurred to me. Is there a distinction between the volume kind of energy we're talking about uh, in the form or in as opposed to the Marshall application?
So actually, yes, actually, I will mention that in tomorrow's class. Uh, the the way you do things for health in all our practices is can be different than how you might do something specifically to develop the power for a Marshall application. So in other words, this is talking a little bit about tomorrow, but it clarifies. For health, everything works together. So when you close, you lengthen in, you twist in, you bend. When you open, you twist out, you lengthen out, you extend out. Martially, sometimes in order to develop power, those completely reversed. And this, I'm not going to get deeply into
Okay,
that.
okay, okay.
So, and the
Well, I
word,
have no particular interest in the Marshall application,
yeah.
although I find it
Well,
helpful to understand.
they do clarify,
Yeah,
and they, interestingly enough, they can be still very effective when we are doing everything together. It's just that in some particular situations, being able to reverse some part of it accentuates the power. I mean, like I'm trying to think even for instance in on, you may be you can be drawing them in, drawing that energy in, twisting in, lengthening in, but you may actually be opening as you do that and continuing to open as you go out.
I follow that.
Yeah. So it's it gets into another whole sphere. I mean, I'm not particularly knowledgeable about it, nor am I really able to teach that. I can turn off my phone. Bad boy. So
I was, it came from
that's a good question.
fun and the energy shooting out, but I don't have a sense of it being as forceful in the form as when we talk about fun is out. So
Yeah.
I'm trying, so this in my mind, I can imagine the energy shooting out, but when I do this, that doesn't happen. I can feel, I can feel energy moving, but not nearly as forcefully.
Are you saying when you do G?
Um, in any, well, Pong, NG, yeah, for
All
that
right.
matter.
So, um, um, I'm not sure I know how to um,
I'm trying, what I'm asking about is observing the energy when I can,
mhm.
and what it's doing and how either forceful or present it is.
Yeah.
Now the place I can feel it most, because I think I'm most relaxed and confident, is in wave hands.
Mhm.
Um, and it would be nice to at least start the form with somewhere
Yeah.
near the feeling of, okay, the energy is moving, but sometimes I think, okay, should I?
Well, see, and that's a really good point because when you go um into Pung, um, you're not going into Pung. I just cut off the energy.
Okay,
You're you're going into releasing out.
okay.
Now, visually, there's very little difference
Mm,
in that. But I haven't tensed my muscles. I have released my muscles
okay,
so that I allow the energy to go out.
understood.
Um, and the thing is that eventually you can have the energy go out and in, and they are both releases. They're both letting go. Um, Rick Barrett really manages to make that pretty clear. And
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I guess that I should think about that, the power of little.
yeah,
Or apparently little.
well, it's not little.
I know
It's allowing big to come through
true. Yeah,
because our tendency is to um, use one force that's not as big as another.
mm,
um, and that's a really important distinction
yeah,
in what we're trying to do. And it all has to do with the connection throughout the entire body. Because for one thing, um, another part of this is that if it's all in the upper body, well, that's one thing. But if if it's also coming from the lower body, I can feel a difference in the energy that's being projected.
yeah, yes. I understand.
Intellectually, yeah.
Well, I do understand it in the context of gods much more easily
Yeah,
than I do here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and that's understandable.
yeah,
For one thing, our work has been probably much more specific and intense in gods than it has here. Um, and yet you can apply all the everything we've talked about in gods.
yeah. I the practice of it is a work in progress, but I've realized that for sometime now,
Yeah,
the better part of a year probably that I've felt from time to time the overlap,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, there is definitely an overlap. Um, well, so when we get to the form, we'll
Yeah, as I
we'll
said, just practicing this week and, sort of stamping my foot because, I would like to get through that sequence with as much confidence as I have in a few other places.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um, I have to just I don't know whether it's encouraging to you or not. I found this sequence difficult too, particularly of you. Um, I found really difficult because just because of the sequence.
Mhm.
I mean, you get to G, and then you have to go out further with the energy. It's not so much the physical movement, it's that you haven't used all the the open until you get to this point when you've gone to close and open. Um, and and I know I've talked about it more than once, but the thing that really helped me was just to slow it way down.
And that's what I did this week. I tried to deconstruct it, and I said, "Well, this is dumb. You're years into this thing, and you still can't connect the dots exactly."
You're not dumb.
No, no, I mean, just the physical part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but I would think, I mean, that this is a subtle. It's probably the most subtle sequence.
In a way, it is. It's yeah, it just is because they're quick. When you think about the Yang style and um that you all the time you have there to go into hung and Liu and G and on, there's all that time in there.
And they're much more distinct
Yeah,
movements.
yeah.
You
And here they're bam, 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 bam,
and it's
and
all
tiny.
within
Yeah.
a small space.
And they can be even smaller. That, when eventually when you can make it more internal,
About
the
the
ex
energy.
the external it doesn't disappear. I don't think it disappears. There are Stephen Watson did a demonstration of his Yang style once, in which he was trying to say that's what he was doing, and he was just like this as he went through all the postures. And I have a little difficulty accepting that, but okay. I love Stephen.
But
But and I've learned some things, real good things from him here and there along the way. So not bad. So how about a little eight gates?
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna be really mean, since you're the only one here, I'm gonna watch
Okay.
so that I can see if I can really uh really help you.
Yeah. Last week I did it with my eyes essentially closed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that helped a bit because I mean, I know you're sitting there watching.
Yeah, right.
But if I see you sitting there watching,
Yes. I re I re I remember the first time after I had learned the long form from Jay, and he came to do another workshop, and the night before we went outside to do some practice, and he wanted me to demonstrate the form, and it was just a very few months after I had finally learned the last part of it, and he's sitting there watching. And I didn't have my best flow. So I completely understand. And there's nothing wrong with doing it with the eyes closed. Uh, Ultimately, you want to be able to do it with the eyes open and aware, but not distracted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And of course, the other thing, I don't know whether I've, ever mentioned this story when I was growing up.
mhm,
The requirement was that I get at least a 93 on every test, paper, quiz, assignment, etc. And if I didn't, punishment was visited, usually being kept away from other kids, etc., etc. So I have a long history of tension over whether I'm doing it right or well enough,
yeah,
or
yeah.
not, which is, not for you to solve, but
No, but that's
but we talked about my needing to be right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's where it's part of my body, always will be. Yeah.
I understand completely. My father, not quite that specific about it,
Yeah.
but he put a lot of demands on me, and I reacted badly in some other ways.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I fixed both of them. I started smoking when I was 12,
Yeah.
so show them. But yeah, so that's there. And I mean, it becomes part of one's being,
And that's part of what we're trying to let go of course, in Tai Chi. I mean, um, it's completely unnecessary, but um, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you just have to work through learning that you're a perfectly good and right person just the way you are. It has nothing
Yeah.
to do with what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with what I think. I try to help, but um, I do try to avoid being punishing.
No, you're certainly not,
Uh, so, so do it with the eyes closed. That's fine. I may interrupt you
Okay.
today.
That's fine. I mean, I welcome
Oh, I know you do.
in-course correction.
Yeah, yeah. I like it, in course correction. And this is a good time to work on whatever, because you're the only one here.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing, that actually up to that point, that was really pretty good, quite good. The only thing is you were doing it all here, and here is the position. So think nose level or eye level,
Okay.
because you're trying to connect.
Yeah, you mentioned this 2 weeks ago, and I maybe I should have my eyes open because
No,
I've
no.
been trying to
Well,
get
you
it
can
up. Yeah.
you can feel that energetically.
Mm.
It's different.
We could go through one sequence just so I.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So pause that one. So here, you want this movement to be like this. So it's in and out. So is you're doing,
I was circling. Yeah, okay.
so if this is coming from my back,
Mhm.
this is the whole movement here is into my spine and out through my spine and down to my dantians. So
Not quite.
no, it feels like it gets blocked in your upper arms or your shoulders. So one of the things in this movement, certainly, you have to find where there is a rotation that works. This doesn't work. I've just locked my shoulders.
Mhm.
Now I unlocked my shoulders.
Mhm.
It doesn't, it's wherever that works for you.
Yeah.
So the shoulders are relaxed and down. And that's your out position.
Yeah.
So now you can push the scapula in and then push the scapula out. And just go back to the other. And you have the shoulders relaxed all the way through that. So that there's no tension developing.
Okay. In the transition from the first posture,
Mhm.
I reach, I think, a good
Uh-huh.
position
Yeah,
with the shoulders, but then probably tense.
yeah.
you know.
This seemed pretty good. You weren't doing this here. Yeah. But this is a tough one. This is not, I mean, I understand this is not a particularly easy movement. Yeah. The thing is to not let yourself focus on the wrist, but certainly at some point the elbows, and then the shoulders and scapula.
Taking the circularity to literally.
Yeah. I mean, it's there, the circles
Yeah,
are
yeah,
there, but you don't have to do this.
Right.
with it. Yeah, yeah. Good. Well, let me stop you again. Um, I think you will find heart more the fire, whatever. A little more effective if your hands are here rather than here.
Okay.
You're doing this
Mm-hmm.
out here. It's here. Because one thing, try to feel the energetic connection to your heart. If you go here and then you pull them in to here, you can feel the energy go into the heart at some point. Maybe not at the moment, but there is a difference. So that this movement becomes right here. It's not.
The elbows are much more bent than I've been.
Yeah, exactly. You're working out here, and this tightens the shoulders. This releases the shoulders. Then when you go down to Sun, you've done this here. You're twisting in right down along the sidelines, halfway, and then you're twisting out. Yeah. But your arms have to be sinking when you do that. So you're trying to, where's halfway between here and here? Somewhere in here. It isn't not a exact
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Somewhere in there. So you're going to twist in until you get down to here. You twist in until you get down to here, and then you're going to twist out into this position. Yeah. To go down. So
What are we doing?
you're somehow you're going up. I see the body rising. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Your eyes have not deceived you.
The body is sinking, and now the body is rising.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
twisting
of course.
in
Okay,
and
yeah,
twisting
the
out.
C curve was backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah, thank goodness.
good, good. So and try to really relax and use the whole arm and back and body, not just it's felt like it's stiff. And it's another somewhat difficult movement. So if you let the whole arm come in and then go out. Okay. You have a real tendency to want to over exaggerate the wrist.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, good. But what you want to do is over exaggerate the scapula.
Scapula, yeah.
So if the scapula move, the arms move. The scapula stop, the arms stop. Scapula move. Okay. The midpoint of that movement is not here. It's here.
Mm.
Okay. So the difficulty with this one is that you are doing this instead of this.
That this is obviously, running throughout the whole form.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm horizontal and vertical rather than circular.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're trying to find that circularity in everything we do. And it's it ain't easy. I'm not, I hope you're It's not that you're
No,
bad or wrong. It's,
no, I mean, and I recognize that this is infinitely more subtle than things were 2 or 3 years ago,
oh, of course, yeah.
So.
Because
I
2 or 3 years ago, you couldn't have done that.
Hmm.
You wouldn't have understood what
Yeah,
you were trying to do.
Yeah.
So this is progress. So if um you are coming in, is that everything coming in? Or is this everything coming in? You see the difference?
no,
Okay. So what you were doing was just bending at
Uh,
the elbow
okay,
instead of
yeah,
circling the elbow. Better. Good. No.
yeah,
However, before that, you did very well. So when you get this, so for one thing, your tendency is to be a little
yeah,
high.
okay,
So if you really think about where's the bottom of the sternum, it's down here. And yours, I don't think I can even do what you were doing, but your hands were coming in and out. Okay, they don't. They come
yeah,
in
yeah,
and out, and then they reverse direction. And they go down and out. And it's just a circle right here, right along the sidelines.
that's a visual misperception, probably stemming all the way back to when we started it, and I thought I saw them going in and out because there was movement in here.
Yeah,
Um, and one thing I will say is that I've felt that when I feel that I've done it reasonably well, it's a lot more simple than I usually make it.
yeah. If you can
You
get,
know, when I said, oh, that was right, and there was nothing to it, yeah.
yeah. Well, particularly when you really get the scapula working, it makes everything else work more easily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think maybe, yeah, I think I just bring everything up too far
Yeah.
normally.
Better relax your shoulders. Really trying to get the scapula to move the arm. Hmm. Not here. Here. Do you see what I'm with our this is something lots of people do. When you get to this point, you want to be dropping the elbows because that connects you to the earth, that connects the energy. If you get to here and you leave the elbows out, you can feel the restriction.
Same as in 6.
Hmm?
Same as in 6.
Yeah.
Gaunt, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Good connection.
Making your mind move with it. I also caught myself both at the beginning of the form and stepping out and back in,
Going,
shifting my weight, but getting my body out beyond my knee. Yeah,
yeah, which means that you're not moving from the
yeah,
dantian.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had I've got a new student in the senior class on Mondays. And he did that yesterday in such an obvious way, I can hardly believe it. And we had talked about it,
Mm.
but I mean, he literally he went to step out and he did this in order to have an empty step.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not what we want, but good awareness. Good. So probably we should go to the forum if we want to have some
Okay.
time with the forum. I'm not sure what time it is, but let's
Yeah,
just.
just have enough.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that.
Well, that's it was useful for me, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not totally different, but it's rather different. I mean, I my scapula are generally free, but I forget to move them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
or to start the movement there.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's involved in this too. Because it's kind of, the scapula are moving in. And then the scapula are moving out. And then we're moving in and out. And out. And in. And in. And out.
Ready, I don't have any room to
Yeah.
go.
So, um, when you go to step out, what I'm noticing is that you're pulling the hand across the center, the left hand. And it's really just staying there. You know, have you done heaven and earth?
Yeah.
Just it's what we do at the beginning of heaven and earth. So we're starting from here, and that preparatory movement. The arms don't come in until you start to rise. That brings the arms up. Same thing here. So yes, they twist in, and then maybe it's the body and the scapula start moving the arms out. And we go out a little further, step in, out. So why are you raising your left arm when all you've done is step? Your your tendency is that time you did better about this part.
Yep.
Okay. But then you lifted the arm and then you stepped. And so the arms don't move until you step, and that drives them up. So part of that too is that in order to make the step, you have to turn slightly. And then you continue rotating into Pung and into G. And it's very subtle. G is very subtle. You don't rush it. And the feeling is that you get the Pung and then it's G.
Yes.
And so it takes time. Feel the energy draw in and then out.
Well, that's so different. Slight turn before I step.
Yeah, I should have caught that before.
I can tell you how many times I've gone through the step out there wondering why I couldn't really do it. But of course,
Sorry, you didn't
I
ask
was
me that.
doing this.
Yeah, and that's not whole body movement.
Right.
You know, right away, you're right. Your instinct was there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I didn't catch it, or you didn't ask me about
So,
it.
yeah, well, yeah.
Either way, I should have caught it.
Along with, not making this grand gesture over here. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. All that's happening is twisting and bending, closing, lengthening in. All of this is happening. But it's really, as far as the upper body is concerned, it's just this. It's not the C curve slightly.
Now, at this point,
Yeah,
am I done turning?
no,
And my next movement, is to,
okay, you come to here. So your next movement is to go out a little bit. And you are shifting onto the right foot.
the left.
You're, well, I'm sorry, I'm mirroring
Yeah,
it
yeah,
on
yeah.
purpose.
Okay.
So you've gone to G.
Yeah.
So now, are you turning after that? No, you
Okay.
are shifting forward, touch, draw in. U is done. Draw in a little bit further and on, out. Good.
Okay, so is it,
You know,
And-
it isn't this.
okay,
You've gone, it's twisting in. It's my scapula pushing in, my
okay,
elbows pushing in, my fingers, wrists slightly bending, everything pulling in,
yeah,
and then
okay.
yeah. It's not that still has some sense of the hands being
Mm.
important. And it needs to come more from the back and from the dantian and spine. So when you get to G, is shift forward, touch, draw in, draw in, draw in, out. And one of the things that also is really hard is the C curve is going. You've got 4 C curves in with you. Well, really 3, because you get to G, and it stays out. Now it starts to bend, 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 bend. Oh,
Yeah,
um,
and that obviously leads to whole body movement, which,
ah,
which,
yeah. It's it's so hard for us to let go of the hands leading. That's, I mean, I see it over and over and over and over. You're not alone. If that's any consolation. You feel like, why can't I let go of this?
well, I think a lot of it has to do with the way I learn and the way I typically, I fastened when you first introduced the form. I can't remember it specifically, but I'm sure I saw
Yeah, yeah. Well,
that because that's what I was trying to remember. Okay, where
Yeah.
do the hands go?
sure.
Um,
And that's perfectly appropriate.
yeah,
But now it's time to let go of that.
Yeah.
Nothing to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We shall see. I'll have to,
Do you feel like you have a better
yes,
grasp in there?
yes. Actually, there were a few other things like the address,
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that elsewhere. The body leads and then the foot can move,
Yep.
but it wasn't doing that,
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
I mean, it's
what's
self-evident. I mean, you just can't take a half a movement or a movement off.
no.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's really, I would think, encouraging for you at this point is that you're recognizing all of this. And you, and because it takes a long time to get to the point where you do recognize it, and that allows you to do something about it.
Yeah. No, well, I feel, like, aside from what I specifically asked about, which we did do, there were several other things that freed up the whole movement. And,
Yeah.
not that you haven't talked about it endlessly, but the scapula, yeah.
Um, you'll get there. You're making, I feel like you're really making progress.
Mm.
So don't feel,
Well, no, I recognize that my doing of it is far different now than it was a half a year ago.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. And this, I'm glad we had this day because uh, I feel like you really recognized a lot.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at the point where the good stuff can
Yeah.
be absorbed.
And, and just to be repetitive as I am, practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
If you don't practice this right away, it'll fade away. That's the thing that I discovered, particularly when I was only seeing Master Joe once a week. If I didn't go home and practice right away, if not that night, first thing the next morning, I would start forgetting what he had taught me.
Yeah. So fortunately, we have the video. Hi, Jeff.
Fortunately, we do have the video. And fortunately, you were on it. So, unfortunately, I didn't go to the other camera, which I should have. I didn't. That's my fault, but you were visible on there, so
I
you
was
can,
visible and
you
there
can
was
see it.
plenty of talking.
Yeah, you can see a lot. So, good.
Okay, well,
Thank you. Good class.
yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I thought it was great.
Yes, I did too, yeah. All kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Put your gloves on.
All right.
Put your gloves on.